Alright, in this video we're going to make our first part. So you're going to want to get your 1-inch stock, make sure it's sticking out so that you have the right amount. You're going to tighten it as much as you can with a chuck key right here. And on the machine, going to make sure this e-stop button is twisted and out, and as well as this one right here, twisted and out. And you're going to press the start button, and assuming if it's not on already, this will be on. So once you do that, the machine will come up Path Pilot, and we're going to go to the File tab. You have your USB drive on the side of the monitor right there. I'm going to click the USB icon, double click, and I have to scroll down a little bit here. Here's my part. I click it once, then I hit copy from USB. Now it's over here on the hard drive of the computer, and I'm going to double click my file. So double click, and you can verify that it's the right file. There's all the G code. So that's how you get the file in. One thing I like to point out is when you first load your part, this is what you want to look for. You can see the Z is the blue line, right? This is the midline of our machine, our Z axis going from left to right. Your part, and here's our X, your part should be above this Z, and it should be to the left of this red X line, visually on here. If your part is down here, which you've had happen, then you maybe have the wrong post processor, or something else is drastically wrong. You do not want to proceed unless your part is above this and to the left of the X line. So here's my contour. So make sure you do that before you proceed. As far as the machine goes, you're going to want to send the machine home. You'll hear that term again, send the machine home. And what that means is we want to hit the reference X button, and when that's done, reference the Z button. And you want to do that every single time before you start a new part. Okay, so I do that. So there it is, and then we're also going to go ahead and set the G30, and so when this has a tool change, we don't want this boring bar here to run into this. So basically you move the machine maybe closer than where home is, but not so close it's going to hit this. So in industry, they would have this be as close to the part as possible to save more time. Just make sure that our turret is far enough away where it does a tool change, it has a safe distance. And then what you're going to do is you're going to hit set G30. And so on the keyboard, the way it works basically is the left and right arrow keys the left will be negative Z going to the left, right will be positive Z going to the right. The up arrow key will be positive X, kind of the machine will be heading up, and then negative X. And then if you hold the shift key, it will basically override the current step, which is 5% to 100. So right now I'm going to hit the left arrow key. It's moving quite slow. Now I'm going to hold down the shift key with the left arrow key, and it's fast. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set our Z0. I want this to be just a few thousandths, so that the cutter is above our metal by just a few thousandths. And when that's done, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to hit 0, 0 to Z. The X is already done from us doing all of our tool offsets. So, a couple more rules. You do not have permission to take out a tool and put it back in. You don't have permission to put in a new tool. You do have permission to, above here, you do have permission to unscrew and rotate let me get a better angle. Some of our inserts are three-sided, so if something happens to one, you could unscrew it and rotate the insert to a brand new sharp edge. But other than that, you're going to have to basically see me or someone that's qualified to do offsets on the tool. So that's that. Also, before doing your first part, you should have seen our library, HSM Works library, to make sure that the tool one you're using is the one that's actually in our machine and we have it calibrated for, and that our tool 2 is the one we have in our machine and calibrated. So, but basically, we've gone in and every single tool has been measured and put in here very carefully, and then that has all gone to HSM Works library so that for you it's a little bit easier. Alright, so moving on, I got my Z set, my G30 set. I send the machine home, so I'm ready to start. Close this up, and so now what we're going to do is, we could run it right now, but what I'm going to suggest you do is to move. We're going to move this over more than enough from our part, and I'm going to hit 0 here, and we're going to do a dry run. Okay, so I'm going to hit single block, turn this on. I'm going to hit cycle start, and okay, make sure you're in the main menu, and single block is on. I'm going to hit cycle start. You're going to see here that each time I press the mouse button, it's going down another line. It's going down systematically, so a lot of left clicking right now. I'm going to turn the coolant off. The coolant's off just so we can kind of see here. Your hand should be on the E-stop button. Right now, we're around 2,000 RPMs. And we're just making sure that we're just kind of making sure that it's a good simulation of what we want done. This is also showing us here exactly what it's doing. It's going to do a tool change now. I have to hit cycle start. I turned the coolant off just for demonstration, but you can see right here the tool is moving down in. DTG is distance to go, so it has about 700 thousandths left, and then it should be done. So this is It's really important to see this here. Alright, so that's the end of the part. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is shut the door, and I think I forgot to say this earlier. But as far as changing tools, I go to offset and type in 3, turret forward. Alright, so now so I've done my dry run. I really had a careful eye to make sure it's doing what I want it to do. Now, when you're doing your part for real, it's going to be hard to see. We're going to try and have a compressor air blowing against the window to make it so you can see better. But you really got to pay attention, and these feeds can be adjusted as the machine is on. So if the machine sounded like it was struggling or taking off too much metal, you would lower down this feed right here. With the RPMs, again, you have to have experience doing the waterproof container by hand to have a feel for how the machine sounds and how it's looking and the chips are looking. But just know that all CNC machinists, that they're playing with these depending on how it's sounding, how the chips are looking. All right, so my Z is set. I'm gonna go to G30, and I recommend that on your first part that you do single block. Just do it one line at a time. So that's what you should do. Alright, so we're going to start this guy. Your hand should be on the E-stop button, and if anything seems wrong, All right, so there it is, and it's the first part. And then maybe the next one we'll do more turning down this, and maybe do a grooving operation in the first to face it. But that's the first one. So, all right, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.